Okay, folks, welcome again to the second class of Money Portal. Want to quickly give you an overview again of what this class is about and sort of what is the journey that we're walking on. Again, picture a U shape, and we've crossed the threshold, and we're beginning to go down into the depths of our pains and sort of the childhood money messages that we're holding that are running our lives unconsciously. So let me quickly give you a picture of what we're doing. So class number one, we've crossed the threshold and we have explored our values. We did this last class. And as you've seen probably already, the values are incredibly important for how you orient in your life. And you'll see that they're incredibly important to decide what to do day by day. And we'll see that more in this class. But essentially, the idea is to align your daily goals with your values, and everything else you either delegate to someone else or you delete it. You sort of let it fall, you put it in a list, on a list of some days I'll get to it, and you just focus on what's most important to you. You'll see that as you do that, your life feels better, because you're not living with shoulds of what your life should be like. Instead, you're living of what's true about your life and what you enjoy about your life. This class, we're going to explore the three themes of connecting values with money. We're going to explore our dreams and our goals, and we're going to look at the power of affirmations and how to use affirmations to manifest what you want in life and why that's important. Next class is going to be powerful, and it's, again, the U, we're starting to get deeper down into the U, and so there's more darkness. Imagine walking into a cave, there's more darkness surrounding us. So we're going to look at the shadow of money, and how we hold money, and how we hold people that have lots of money. How we hold those people that we judge, maybe the Donald Trumps of the world, or the Shell or the Exxon. What are the things that we project onto them that are actually really projection of our own dark shadows that we're not willing or haven't yet owned in ourselves. It's going to be next class, class 4. Again, if it's a U, we're deeper down into the darkness of the cave, the underworld. And class 4, we're going to look at our childhood money message. This is a class that sometimes is a little bit triggering for people, but it's good triggering in the sense that you lift the blinders off of what has been running you as far as money most of your life. You're going to get to basically dialogue with your parents in your mind, in your imagination. There's a few visualization exercises that will lead you through, and you get to see what's been running you, and then you'll get a chance to change it. And again, awareness is half of the game, right? Once you see something, then you can't unsee it, and then you have choice. Class number 5 is where we're really in some of the deepest points of the depths of the underworld journey. And the class 5, we're going to look at the work of Brent Castle. And he wrote a book, which I actually have. It's called, here. It's called, It's Not About the Money. It's a great book, highly recommend it. And the book essentially explores 8 archetypes that he's found. 8 archetypes that exist and live within each of us. There's the saver, the hoarder, there's the empire builder, there's the innocent, etc., etc. And you'll see essentially that each one of us probably holds 2 to 3 archetypes that are really truly ours. And again, each archetype has a way that they've been dealing with money throughout their whole life. So each archetype has a wound, a way that maybe they've been rebelling against money, of them be sort of like afraid of dealing with money and not dealing with bills, or maybe hoarding money. So there's a wound there, and there's also a gift that each archetype has. And so that will give you, exploring that will give you a chance of, once again, of having choice about how you want to deal with money and with your financial life. Class number 6 and 7, we're beginning to come out of the deepest darkness of facing our shadow and our pains, and beginning to take practical steps to heal them, and we're beginning to come up. And so the way that we do that is through this technique, this energy technique that's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And a lot of the material is going to be from this book over here called Tapping into Wealth by Margaret Lynch. Again, highly, highly recommend the book. It's full of practical information and scripts and on how to begin taking down the triggers that have kept you stuck in the place that you are with money. So essentially, there's an unconscious message, the childhood money message that's been running us for most of our lives, right? And it's basically, think about it as like a scrape, a wound, something that we don't realize that it's actually painful and hurting. We only realize it when the money situation gets uncomfortable, however it shows up for us. That what the tapping allows us to do is take down the trigger, take down the pain. It's like putting balm on the wound. It's like putting the bones back together and strengthening the muscles, right? Now, what's possible if you do that? Think again, you've broken your legs and you've been sort of slumping or walking with a broken leg for 20 years of your life. You know, what's possible if suddenly your leg heals and your muscles get stronger again? Well, you can run, right? You can walk, you can run without pain. So class 6 and class 7, we're going to clear most of the pain that we've dug out in the previous classes, and that we're digging up even in these classes. Class number 8, which is really the last class before we fully come out of this underworld journey, we're going to look at alternative models of economy, finances. And so the whole idea around gift economy, and particularly the work of Charles Eisenstein. He's been a proponent of, he calls it sacred economics. And so we're going to look at that work, and I find that work to be very important for us folks that live in these alternative communities, conscious communities. It's important for us to deal with that, but to deal with that from a conscious adult in relationship standpoint, not from a wounded point. Because there's a lot of us that say, you know, money is I don't want to deal with, sort of like, I don't want to deal with money, I'm just going to jump into the gift economy directly. Well, you know, actually, let's heal our wounds with money so that we can talk about money, so that we have an ease around money, we don't have triggers with money, and then we can talk about gift economy. You know, let's talk about gift economy from a place of center and ground and maturity and adulthood. Okay, that said, and then class 9 is we're going to come out of the journey fully and sort of step out of this journey portal adventure, and once again invite the ritual ceremony to do that. So it's important to stick with the journey until the end so that you actually step out of the ritual ceremony. And I really want to invite you, if you choose for whatever reason to drop out of the class and not stick with the videos, please at least do the ceremony to step out of the circle. Because, you know, you called in spirit guides, etc., and you want to respect that ritual space. So let me switch over here into screen share, and we're gonna get in here. Let's see. I think it's this. Okay, I apologize for the delay here. Let me actually, okay, here we go. Let's do it this way. Okay, here we go. Okay. So Money Portal class number 2. There we go. Money Portal class number 2. Thank you again for coming into this journey. In this class, we're going to look at our money and our values, our goals and dreams, and the power of affirmations. So get your pens and pencils ready and pieces of paper and get ready to do exercises. And once again, pause the video whenever there's an exercise so that you can do them real time. So let's talk about career fulfillment. Now that you know your values, you want to connect that with work and income. So, you know, if your highest values, for example, is self-care, you know, how can you turn your work? How is your work connected with self-care, for example? How is whatever way you're achieving your income connected with your highest value? And the important thing is to see how it is. So what you could do right now is pause the video for a couple of minutes and just answer out loud, answer to the screen. How is the work you're doing right now? Whatever the work is, it's perfect for you at the moment, however uncomfortable it may feel. How is it supporting you in reaching your highest values? Because if it wasn't, you would have already changed it. Okay, so do that. Great. And now let's move on to talk about obstacles and shoulds. And so the idea is to change frame. Let's talk about obstacle first. The idea is, how is this obstacle, whatever we perceive in our life as being an obstacle? It could be our work. It could be that the work doesn't feel as fulfilling as we would like. It could be that a particular relationship is not as fulfilling as we would like. Well, how is this particular situation, how is this particular obstacle right now actually helping me fulfill my purpose? How is it helping me grow? I'll give you an example. Some people sometimes get depressed for just, you know, life situations. So depression, you know, what does depression give you? Well, one of the things that depression gives you, it gives you time. You know, maybe you're spending time in the house, you don't really want to go out. So it gives you time to spend with yourself. It also gives you time to practice a little more self-care than maybe you have been doing until this point. It gives you maybe more time to rest and sort of an excuse to say no to friends and family. It also gives you often an opportunity to feel supported, sort of feel the compassion from people and friends calling you up, trying to cheer you up, maybe bringing you soup or whatever. Same things with sickness, right? So this is the idea, is to see the gem within the obstacle. So I want you to look at your life and seeing if you have any obstacles, if you consider specifically your work situation or your money situation an obstacle. And I want you to think, how is this money situation helping you fulfilling your purpose and your highest value? You know, and maybe that, let's just say you're in poverty. It may be that poverty is helping you by lighting a fire under your ass and sort of inspiring you to get change done. You know, your poverty situation is inspiring you to take class like that and come into adult relationship with money. How fantastic, right? And now let's talk about shoulds. So the conversation around shoulds goes back to the values and goes back to what I said earlier. If you feel like in your life you have shoulds, such as, man, I wish my life was different. I shouldn't be working at this job. I shouldn't be living in this house. I shouldn't be living with this roommate. I shouldn't be married with this person, or whatever it is. Or I should be married by now, or I should have a certain degree by now. You know, consider that the should is actually you injecting values. So taking values from others into yourself. They're not your values, and you're sort of putting onto yourself values from society, from dad, from mom, or from some other person that you maybe fantasize or idealize. Can you see that, how that would be possible? You know, you're taking their values and what it's important to them. You know, maybe to dad, it's really important that you have a graduate degree and that you get married. And so inside your mind, you're like, man, I should be married by, all my friends are getting married. I should be married by now, right? I should have a degree by now. Well, consider that that's actually you having elevated other people's successes more than trusting your own life and really trusting your own values and your own unique path. So the more you stick to your values and the more you stick to the truth of your values and what your life shows you about who you are and what you've accomplished so far, the easier and the less pressure you'll feel. Just stick with your values and align your goals with your values. You'll see things get easier. Purpose and work. Purpose and work, when we live following that which is most important to us, our highest values, we are living our purpose. And this next quote comes from Alex Baisley, who says that the work is the active part of the day doing what I like. So work is the active part of the day doing what I like. And income comes from sharing that work. So income equals the value I'm able to bring to other people. Once again, income is the value that I'm able to bring to other people. So what kind of value are you bringing to people so far right now? And how could you bring more value to people? Income for lovely work. Here, the idea is to help other people fulfill their highest values as you fulfill yours. So if you have a service, you're a massage therapist, you're a yoga teacher, whatever, or you're a coach, how can you help fulfill people's highest values as you're fulfilling yours, which may be teaching or self-care, whatever your thing is, cooking. As you're fulfilling your highest values, how can you help fulfill other people's highest values? Which, as you do this, of course, you're going to have passion. So you're going to give quality service, which is going to, in turn, give you a good money, good income. And there's really, if you think about it, there's no burnout when you're focusing on your highest values. So it's a good indication if you're burnout that probably you may be living outside of your current value system. Think about when you were a kid, right? Or think about those kids, those 12-year-olds that spend 5, 6, 7 hours playing video games. Why do they do that? Well, clearly the video games it's meeting a need of theirs. It's meeting a value of theirs. And so there's no tiredness. They're so engaged and so alive when they're doing whatever it is that they value the most. So a reframe is not the question of what would I like to do, to make money or whatever, but instead to ask ourselves, how would I like my life to feel like? How would I like my life to feel like? And how would I like to share my gifts? How would I like to help fulfill their highest value? So pause the video here for a couple of minutes, a couple more minutes or so, and just sit with this question. Okay, now let's talk about really the meat theme of this class, which is values and money. So it feels really important to learn to value money and to value saving. This is a concept, again, that comes from Dr. John Demartini. And he says that, if you don't value money, if you don't value saving money, what you'll end up doing is essentially just spending money. Because once again, what is your highest values? Look at your list, your top 5 values. What is your highest value right now? Okay. So imagine that your highest value is self-care, once again, or self-healing, or whatever, consciousness growth, or whatever it is. If you get money, where are you going to spend that money? Well, of course, you're going to spend it in alignment with your highest value. So if your highest value is self-care, the quickest money that you get in, the quickest income that arrives, it's mostly going to go towards, right, beyond the basics of rent and food, etc. It's mostly going to go towards, massage or therapy or yoga classes or whatever it is that has to do with your highest value of self-care, right? So it's really important that we learn to value saving money, because we want to be able to create, and I mentioned this the last class, we want to be able to create about a 10% income saving bubble, where every time the income money comes in, we put aside 10% of our money. And that money we don't touch. We let it grow and we let it accumulate, sort of like energy and power that attracts more money, right? So we want to learn to value saving money. And this is how you do it. So you're going to answer 2 questions. Again, this question is inspired by Demartini. The first question is, how will making and saving money help you fulfill your highest value? So fill in the blanks, whatever it is. Your highest value, your highest couple of values. Look at your list again, and then you can pause the video once I'm done with this and actually take the time to answer. Now, I'm going to read the second question, and then I'm going to explain why I say to answer 200 times. So stick with me here. Second question is, how is building a business that serves thousands of people be of benefit to you and your highest values? And once again, answer this 200 times. Now, first of all, I want you to notice for a second if you had some sort of resistance to taking the time to answer the question that I'm asking you 200 times, right? 200 times is a lot, right? But I want to ask you, how much do you value yourself? How much do you value this? How painful it is, your issue around money and around clarity in life? Because if you want to change it, these exercises will help you shift your patterns. The idea here of the 200 times, Demartini says that this is the minimum number that's needed for the brain to actually build new neural pathways. Your brain has been building, imagine your brain, there's actually inroads that you've been walking over and over and over and over again around money. There's emotional patterns, there's thinking patterns that you've been walking for all of your life, your 20, 30 years, however old you are. Now, if you want to build a new path into the woods, right? If you want to go off track and build a new path, how do you do that? Well, you're going to have to start walking and like craft a new path. And then the more you walk the new path, the more the path gets delineated. So you actually need to do it about 200 times. This is according to the research that Demartini has done, to really create new neural pathways and to allow your brain to see how things could be different. So if you want to save value, saving money, and we know why that's important now, you actually want to take the time to answer this question 200 times. So this is what happens, and then I'll let you do the exercise. This is what usually happens. You'll take your pen and piece of paper, you'll start writing them out, and I would suggest timing yourself, so setting a timer for like 45 minutes. You start answering these questions. And again, you're not answering about spending money. You're answering how it would be helpful to save money, not how it would be helpful to spend the money that you make in accordance to your highest values, but to save money. So you want to start answering about 200 times, right? You start answering them, and then what's going to happen is you're going to reach a plateau around probably 30 or 40, the 40th answer, the 50th answer. And you're going to be like, oh man, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And that's normal. And of course you don't know what to do because you don't have that neural pathways. Your brain is not used to see how things could be different. You know, if you were to ask a billionaire how saving money could help them fulfill their highest value, well, they would probably be able to list, 1,000 times how that would be the case. So you want to actually do this to build neural pathways. And so you may want to pause and then ask a friend to give you feedback and maybe give you suggestions. Hey, what do you think? How can saving money help me fulfill my highest value of, building a business, or my highest value of cooking, or my highest value of reading and teaching? And get feedback, but really take the time to do this and time yourself. So pause the video and do this, begin this right now. And then if you don't complete, finish watching the video, but definitely come back to this exercise and complete it. Okay, this is the second exercise of the day, and the idea is to look at dreams and goals. Now we know what we value. We know that money, we can connect money with what we value. But then the next question is, where are you going? What excites you? What do you want? Really and truly, what do you want in life? What do you envision for your life? For a lot of people, this is really hard to embody and to really feel into and allow themselves to admit. So I want you to take 5 minutes, and you're going to free write for 5 minutes what you want in life. So do that now. Pause, time yourself, and free write for 5 minutes, and go. Okay. Now that you've written your list of things that you want in life, what I want you to do is select the most inspiring and luminous things. And this could be, you know, you might want a boat, or you want to live in a certain place. You want to live in a certain place in the country, or you want a particular job, or you want to make a particular amount of money, or you want to have a particular relationship that looks in a particular way. So I want you to underline and select the ones that feels the most inspiring and luminous, you know, and pick your top 10. Okay, now that you've done that, I want you to align those 10 items with your values. And how do you do that? Well, you ask a question. So you're going to look at your values. You're going to have your list of five values in front of you. And then you're going to link, how is, you know, whatever, goal X helping me fulfill my highest, how will reaching goal X helping me fulfill my highest value? And then you go down the list one by one until you begin seeing the connection. You know, again, you don't want to do it just once or twice. You want to really write those connections, you know, 5, 10 times per item, so your brain can begin to reshape itself and make sense of this new reality that you're creating for yourself. So again, pause the video and take 5 to 10 minutes to do that right now, and go. Good. Now that you've done that, we move until the last portion of this class's exercises. And this deals with affirmations. So let me talk about affirmation. So this idea comes straight from Victor Box's book, How to Solve All of Your Money Problems Forever, which is a really clever title. And I thought the book was sort of hokey, and then I read it and was sort of blown away by the depth of information. And the guy uses quantum physics to explain that money is essentially energy. Money is subject to the laws of physics, just like anything else. It's subject to gravity, it's subject to what I forgot the name of, but basically the law of repulsion. And so essentially, what I want you to do right now is look at your list of wants, and look only at the list of the most luminous, those 10 items that you've chosen. And so what Victor Box says is that what happens when we affirm something, you want to imagine affirming something, basically repeating a mantra or saying over and over, you know, I have a red car, I have a red car, I have a red car, over and over and over and over again. This way, it works like a pull onto, let's call it the universe. It works like pulling that item towards you. But he also says that we have an innate addiction to money and to things, and our addiction creates a resistance. And so what we want to do is actually lessen the resistance that lives inside of us. And the way that we lessen the resistance is by pushing things out. And so what you want to do is you want to give 5% of your income to charity, or to sort of like donate it out. It's not really important who you give it to. The important thing is that you give it out. And he calls this glad giving. You want to donate 5%, which is really, I mean, if you think about it, it's really not much. And he says to donate it as soon as that thing comes in. So you make 20 bucks, you know, you want to donate that $1 or whatever, 50 cents, however much it is, as soon as you get it. And at the meantime, you want to keep affirming what it is that you want. And in this way, by donating and giving, the glad giving, you're diminishing your resistance to attracting what it is that you want. And so this is how you use affirmation. You choose 10 affirmations, 10 items of what you want. And it can be in any fields, again, it could have to do with a car, or it could have to do with a certain income, or a relationship, or a house, or a place to live, whatever it is, or your body. You may want to heal your body in a certain way. So you want to choose 10 things about how you want your life to be. And you can use the list of dreams that we wrote earlier. You're going to write it in this format. You're going to write I, and then you're going to state your name. And then you're going to write have in the present tense. And then you're going to write whatever, I, Fabio Fina, have a red car. And you want to be as specific as possible and as clear and succinct as possible. Then you're going to read this affirmation every single morning out loud. Then you're going to write it out 10 times throughout the day. You want to take a piece of paper and write the thing out. That you're not each of the 10 items. You're going to choose one item and you're going to write it out 10 times. And then at the end of your night, you're going to reread your list of 10 items before going to bed. And so this could feel sort of annoying, and I'm giving you a lot of homework, but then again, how in pain are you and how willing are you to change it? This stuff works. So it's better, he says, to start with it and stick with it. Or if you think you're going to fail, you're going to skip a day or two, just don't start at all, because it's just he says that for the effect of the thing to work, it's actually worse if you start and then stop, or skip a day or two. And okay, power is conscious minds and rewriting unconscious mind childhood money messages. Essentially, what's happening here is that as children, we've internalized the money messages from society, from friends, and most of all, from parents, from our ancestors. We've internalized certain money messages and a certain view and perception of the world. That thing is the most powerful drive that we have in life. That's the unconscious mind. That is sort of the habits and the perception that we don't realize we have and that are running us 24/7. They're the unconscious habits that again are running us. So to rewrite that, we need to insert a new disk inside the software. So the way to do that is through affirmation. And again, it's really simple, but it could feel tedious. And again, it's really, really simple. 3 steps. You choose 10 items, 10 things that you want, and you read them out loud every single morning. And then step number 2, you read them out every single night before going to bed. This is the time where your mind is the most open, right? Early in the morning and right before going to bed. And so by reading them, you're sort of introducing them in the part of the brain that's actually willing to receive them. And then throughout the day, you can pick a time and a day, and it really takes like a minute or 2. You're gonna choose one of those 10 items, or 5, or however many you choose. You're gonna write the same thing out, repeat it 10 times. And that also helps. The repetition of writing it out with your hand helps the message sink into your mind. Okay, so you can do that, right? You can begin doing that right now and choosing your 10 items, or 10 items or less. And then you can set yourself a schedule for how to do this throughout the day. Homework for this class is make sure that you do your affirmations if you choose to do them. And you want to post them where you can see them. I personally keep them right under my bed so I can just pick them up right before going to bed. You want to go back to that exercise and answer those questions 200 times of how saving money is connected with your highest values. And you want to keep reviewing throughout this week. You want to keep reviewing your values and aligning your life with them. So post them, you know, again, have them handy. Keep noticing how your life is already aligned with your values. And just notice that as you do that, things will feel easier. So thanks for be willing to stick with this process. You will see results by the end of the 9 classes. I'll see you guys in class number 3.